Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Jill. I'm your host tonight for Fiber Floozie Crime Book Club. Yes, Annie, you're here. Who else is here? Kathy G is here. Alicia is here. Diamond Girl is here. Karen B. Mary Webb. Welcome in, everybody. So glad you can join me. It is ladder yarn. It is. Look at you recognizing your yarns. I'm proud of you. Trucker Steve is here. Oh, hey, Trucker Steve. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. I am still a little stuffy. You guys can probably still hear it in my voice, but I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm just kind of tired because the doctor has me taking the meclizine 3 times a day. Now, meclizine is an anti-Semitic, so in other words, it's like so you don't get dizzy, and it's supposed to be non-drowsy. But if you take it 3 times a day, I have found out that it will still make you drowsy. It still will. Chelsea's listening. Yay. Oh, you accidentally finished it. Well, you have to start another one. See, that's the rule, right? You finish one, you have to start 2 more, right? Isn't that what we yarny people do? You finish one, you start 2 more. I am still working on my something in red. It is in this bag. Are you guys ready? Now, I'm going to tell you something, you guys. The last time that we had book club, I felt like it was very clinical. I would like for this to be a little bit more easygoing. I would like for us to talk about the book. Yes, I do want us to talk about the book. That's what we're here for. And the book we're talking about is Murder Investigation Team: How Scotland Yard Really Catches Killers with Steven Keogh. Okay, and for this week, our assignment was to read the part about the crime scene up into where we get to the forensics. Okay. Hi, Barbara. Come on in. So that's what we're doing. However, just let's just talk, okay? I don't want to go, paragraph by paragraph through the book like I did before. So let's don't do that. Let's talk, y'all. What do you guys know in here? What do you know about crime scenes? What do you know about crime scenes? I'm glad you're able to listen in, Chels. I did put up a couple of questions in my community tab, and we'll get to those here in a little while also. I'll give you guys a little update of my something in red. I've got all my lights on, but we're this time of the night, we're losing some of our natural light. And I'm having a fight with my ball. I'm having a ball fight. I know, Ed Wallace. Yes. If there is a crime scene, call Ed. Hi, Deneen. Yep, they taped them off. That's good. Yeah, don't start contaminating things. Exactly. We don't want to start contaminating things. Hello, Kathy. Welcome in. Glad to see you. Here is how my something in red is going. I love this lace. Isn't that just the prettiest? Isn't that going to be so pretty once it is blocked out? So neat. You're working on your brake light, and that's your something in red. Yeah, me too. That's one of the things I took away from this chapter also, Karen, is those 5 building blocks. And what she's talking about, the 5 building blocks are preserving the scene, preserving preservation of life, preservation of the scene, securing of the evidence, identifying the victim, and identifying and arresting the suspects. So yeah, yeah, that I like to see that too. That was very cool. And preserve the scene, yes. Yes, that's another thing I took away from this. You guys are already on my points, already on the points I took away from it, which was the fact that Steve talked about looking at everything from all the different vantage points. I thought that was really, really cool. You're going to try the co-pilot, and you're going to use a larger yarn. Is that what you mean by bigger? Thank you, Alicia. I hope your brake light's okay, Steve. I hope it's okay. Yeah, so it was very interesting to me where talking about the crime scene is not just where the body is, right? It's also other places. And they have to determine whether the body where the body is, if that is the crime scene. So that by looking at all of the different elements around us, this scene, is that where the crime happened, or is this just where it was dumped? So, and then if that's the case, then you have a vehicle that might have evidence. You have all these other things that come into play. So you cast on a lot more stitches. Got it. I understand. Hi, Bree. He beat into you the need for protected garments and why he doesn't share your love of Luther. I know the whole Luther thing. So you're doing 225. Awesome. I'm doing 202 because it's believe it's even, right? 202 is what I did. Yeah, and see, he talked about this also. He talked about yes, going back on a normal day. Exactly. To see how things are without the crime. Yeah, because the day that they go out there when the crime has occurred and everything, everybody's trying to gather all the evidence and stuff, that it's just crazy. And so he likes to go back on a day of normal. So a day when, say, you know, the time of day that they kind of figure it happened, the to see what was going on that time of day and on a normal day, to see if something was going on that they didn't pick up on the day of that they were there for the crime. So yeah, I thought that was good too. You cringe on TV shows when they use their pen. Does that shade of pink count? If you didn't have any red yarn. So what, I don't know what you mean by what shade of pink. Did you show me something somewhere and I have forgotten? Oh, picking the evidence up with an ink pen. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they do that on on crime shows a lot. They do some pretty silly stuff on crime shows. Really, really, and that's one of um, Stephen Keogh's big problems with the TV crime shows is they do things that he and others in investigation didn't do. Either they did things they didn't do, or they did things differently, and that it is not, or things like certain things just never happen on the real crime scene. Lots of stuff they don't do. So, did you guys get my question about the golden hour? What is the golden hour, you guys? That was one of the questions I had. The golden hour as it relates to a crime scene. The golden hour. Yeah, hospital dramas. Immediately following a crime, right after a crime, immediately after the murder or the crime. Yes. I did see that Sandy Red Heart Crochet, she answered correctly also, right on underneath. And you guys can do that whenever I post the questions. You guys can put comments on there, on where I post the question on my community tab. Yes, right after the crime. So you minored in criminal. Oh, that's cool. You minored in criminal justice. Yeah, it's so detailed. So there's the golden hour in EMS. Supposedly that's like midnight, right? So so getting the evidence is really huge for them, and there's an awful lot of ways that they do that. So taping off the crime scene is one way that they can protect the evidence. But it's interesting too that if you've got evidence that's in like a vehicle or something like that, then they have to also protect that. And I've seen where they put tents over a scene to protect from the elements outside. They put like a tent over the body and stuff like that. I do not know, Karen. Community tab on your iPad, but not on your iPhone. That's weird. Got to be a setting somewhere. Maybe you have to offload the app from your phone and reload the app. Sometimes that works. It can fix bugs to do that. Give it a reboot. Give it a reboot. That's what things sometimes need. I had trouble with my camera the other day, and I had to reboot my laptop, and everything was fine after I rebooted. That's all it needed. Interesting. I don't know. You might call like where you buy phones, a store like Verizon or whoever you have your stuff with, and ask them if there's something in there that maybe, wherever you got your phone, sometimes they can answer stuff like that too. So the evidence that they pick up, um, it's interesting because they pick up things like the witnesses, the things from cameras, the weapons, any kind of weapon that's there. Then he talked about revisiting it on a different day, like on a normal day. And then there were other things that I thought were interesting, which were the different types of crime scenes. So there's an inside crime scene and there's an outside crime scene, and things are different with the different scenes. So inside, of course, all they have to do really is, you know, lock out everyone from an inside one, and then they can, keep and keep a better control over who goes in and out of that crime scene. But an outside one is a lot harder. It's a lot harder to keep everybody out of. Oh, that's cool. That's a really good idea. Hi, Sandy. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for reminding everybody to hit the like button. I appreciate that. So yeah, then the outdoor crime scene. You know, is it just the spot again? Like I say, is it just the spot where the body is, or is that the dump site? And then you have to look for a crime scene somewhere else, because that makes a difference. And if they have to start fanning out and looking for evidence around and seeing, because it could be, maybe the person crawled to where they are, um, and the attack actually happened somewhere else. That's one possibility. Yes, they he talked about that. He said that the body itself is a crime scene. Yeah, it's the crime scene actually starts with the body itself. Oh, birds. Mhm. Yeah, and see, the more stuff that is where you find the body, the more stuff that's there, the harder it is to control everything, and there's a whole lot more evidence that they have to try to obtain. There was a statistic in here too that talked about in 2020 the places where murders occurred, at least in England and in Wales, most of them occurred in a dwelling. So, in other words, at home, in people's homes. I did not find that statistic for the US, but I do know that in 2020, crimes of homicide in the US went up by 38%. That's a pretty big increase. And, we're all going to say it here, right? The pandemic had to have something to do with that because everybody was inside. Sandy saying hi to you, Steve. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you all for saying hello to everyone. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you. I have made changes to my moderators again too. It's because I when I make someone a moderator, I really would like them to be available and be here. And when somebody is here, I really like to I like it if I can have them be a moderator because they know more what's going on. I think that the pandemic has a lot to do with the crime rate going up. I sure do. So what else did we learn? What else did y'all learn about this? Who were the four people that are always on a crime scene? That was my other question was, who were the four people that were always on the crime scene? This is where he talked about who is all in the when you see all these people, there's crime tape and there's all these people there. Who are all those people that are running around in those suits, in those paper suits? Oh, it sure did. Domestic violence went way up. It's sad. It's very sad. You know, when those that are the perpetrators, most often in domestic violence, are not working, they're at home, there's more strain on the family. And I have no doubt it all went up. And I really feel like that had a lot to do with why that it went up. Yes, photographer. Photographer is one of those four people. Crime scene manager, photographer, an exhibits officer, and crime scene examiner. So the exhibits officer, of course, because they're going to be the collection of all of the evidence has got to be documented. So of course they're going to be at every crime scene. The photographer actually tells a story about the crime scene by getting pictures of everything. It tells a story that helps too. The examiner, they call them a crime scene officer or a SOCO. And they recover the forensics. So they are there to cover the forensics. I love the forensic side. The crime scene is interesting to me, but the forensics is fascinating to me also. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it, Annie. I'm so glad you're liking it. And then not it was interesting to me because those people are always there, but the others may or may not be. So sometimes it depends on the scene itself as to whether the other people are asked to be there or not. So the identity of the victim, it's also the crime scene is also a place where they start talking about victimology. So they start to learn about the victim. Now, why is that victim there? What could have happened to them on that day that would have happened? What could have put them there? Who they may have been talking to, where they may have been going. That falls a lot of that information falls into the victimology. I know. Just from the way the blood spatters is, yeah, it is fascinating. Oh, used to what? Yeah, see, that can happen. That absolutely can happen, because what happens at the scene, definitely, if something's done wrong, exactly. So the part about the victim, again, hey Spring, how are ya? Glad you came by. So they start with things like their driver's license, um, any other kind of their phone, all of those things, and they start to be able to figure out a little bit more about the victim. So witnesses, a lot of times you've got the witnesses saying, well, he shouldn't have been in that place because this was the wrong time of day for him to be here. He usually goes at this time, or yeah, he always used to meet so and so, and it starts to build from there. They start to build a lot of information based on what everybody knows about the victim and where they're found. Doing better, doing better. Got a lot of sinus stuff like a lot of other people, but I'm okay. I'm here. I wanted to get another one in today because I'm going to be going out of town in a few days. So what? Okay, so Annie is working on her co-pilot. Going to be working on the co-pilot. What is everybody else doing for their something in red? Let's talk about that for a minute. What are you guys doing for your something in red? Yeah, one of the ones that really was fascinating for me concerning blood spatter was the Michael Peterson, where his wife fell down the stairs. So the staircase, if you don't know that one, the staircase is on Netflix, and where they talked about the blood spatter all over the wall and everything. That was, yeah. There's no way. There's no way things happen the way he said. An open work shawl from Expression Fiber Arts. Ooh. Speaking of her, I have something I could probably show y'all. Annie's doing the co-pilot with some black accents. That'll be pretty. Something in red is a dishcloth. That's okay. Wasn't that interesting? Yeah, forensics was huge on that one, right, Karen? A simple lace triangle shawl pattern from Red Heart in pink shades. Okay. Is it darker pink at least, Kathy? Autumn lace knit cowl. Pretty. Quicksilver shawlette by Tamara Kelly. Awesome. Tamara Kelly's Moogly, right? Isn't that Moogly? She has some great patterns. Hey, Tony, I didn't see you come in working on a red scarf. Frogged it was wonky. Basic red hat. That's okay. A red hat is great. You did something in red. That's great. Yeah. Diluted blood by a swimming pool. Exactly. Working on, the indolation. I've seen that one. Oh, I want to say that's a shawl, right? Oh, that's fun, Annie. That's fun. So it is a shawl. Okay, variegated shades from light to dark. I'll bet it'll work. I'll bet it'll work. I'm just glad you're going along with this and you've got the book and everything. It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so glad y'all wanted to do this. And before I forget, the next part of the book that I want us to read, I want us to finish chapter 2, you guys. So that is the rest of, no, is that right? No, we're going to do the forensics. Hang on. The rest of the crime scene. Yes. Rest of chapter 2, which in the book goes up to page 61, but it finishes the crime scene. So it's basically all of the forensics. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing next. The next time we meet, we will talk about the rest of chapter 2, the rest of the crime scene. My shawl. Did you get the pattern, Annie? Which shawl? Working on for a Christmas gift and 2 cows. Awesome. Oh, he's interested too? Aw. We're doing something in red for the because when I picked up my copy of the book that we're doing, Spring, it was done in this red and white, and I just figured something in red would be fun because of the blood for crime scene. Working on a shawl using Hobbies Carnival. Not sure who made the pattern. Oh, you talking about the Seeing Double shawl? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, she means the Seeing Double one. People think I'm too morbid. I know, right? It's like the one where you pull into a when you pull into the drive-through and you've got your crimes podcast running. I did post the pattern for the co-pilot. I posted a link to that. It's by Dom Knit, and I posted it on the very first when I showed my video where I was at Dad's and I was sitting down and I was showing you the very first one. It's in the list because this is only the third video. Green and pink, cool. So you guys have anything else about the crime scene? Anything, any other points that you want to bring up? You know, they did talk about very first thing he talked about was the preservation of life. In other words, they have to check and make sure that the person that they are, that they get to the scene, they have to make sure they're actually not still alive, that they don't need to resuscitate someone or get someone to the hospital. Hello, Sandy. right? If the FBI sees all of your the stuff that you look up, if the FBI saw mine, they'll think that I'm a vegan who murders people. That's all the stuff I look up. Yeah, getting into the head of the perpetrator. Exactly. Exactly. By looking at the crime scene, there's a way that they get into it. And I know it would get back to movies and stuff, but that does remind me of the guy from Criminal Minds. I forget what his name is, but on Criminal Minds, they're always doing something with him. Well, he's into, he's scanning everything. But that is what they're talking about, is scanning everything and paying attention to see if they can figure out what happened based on the scene itself by just paying very close attention. They can read the scene that way. Absolutely can. Yeah, I know. Looky loos, right? So we talked about bargaining in the identifying the victim. But someone thinking they were at fault would be called bargaining. Talked about bargaining in the identity of the victim. Hmm. That may not be in this part of the book. Did you read ahead on find that somewhere, Karen? Speaking to a loved one. Uh, I think I remember him saying that was when it first happened, and he had to go and do that it was more than he bargained for. Is that what you mean? Yeah, the rubbernecking and all of that. Yeah, oh, the profilers is what I meant to say. The guy that was on Criminal Minds is a profiler in the 5 stages of grief. Oh, because they bargain. Yeah, they're blaming themselves. I know. Isn't it weird how they call them staff? They're not out officers. They're not police officers and stuff. They're actually staff with the police department. Very interesting too. You would assume that everybody out there is a police officer. Well, they do watch. There are some places that they get some of their information that way by looking at websites. But I was listening to Ken Maines from Unsolved No More. If you guys don't know Ken Maines, you should. You should go check him out also. And he was talking recently about whether web sleuths and those that have podcasts and all that, if they help or they hurt an investigation. And he was talking about how, yeah, they don't hurt an investigation. How can they hurt an investigation? If the investigators are doing their job, what other people say about it on a webcast or a show or news or any of that kind of stuff can't really hurt it, can't really hurt the investigation if they're doing their job. Hello, Kim. And that's yeah. I would think that would, you know, have a lot to do with it because you didn't do it. And if you have a loved one who has died because of something, it's not their fault either. The person who committed the crime is the one who did who did it. They're the one to blame. Our job is to try to stay out of the way, right? Try not to be there when it happens. Yeah, there are some that do things they shouldn't do. Exactly. People who cross the line and taint the witnesses. Yeah. Right, Tony? Wouldn't it be hard to have all of this in your head all the time? You know, and I know that Steve talks about this on his channel pretty and on some of the interviews that he does about how difficult it is to do it all the time. We talked about this last time. He says it's hard to turn it off. Yeah, be aware of everything. Exactly. Head on a swivel, as Ed Wallace says. Head on a swivel. Yeah, they have people out taking pictures at a scene. They have people at funerals also. So who shows up to the funeral? They didn't show up, that you didn't see them out there on the day of the crime. Then they also take pictures of people who are coming in and out of the funeral, paying respects, kind of thing. They take pictures at a lot of different places when they're trying to find people that either do line up or don't line up. Yeah, they did something different. And well, yeah, that's why we have to be aware and don't be there where the crime is. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Mhm. That's another part of it where they're enjoying the aftermath. It's another part of reliving what they did in some respects. A lot of your serial killers will do that kind of thing. Mhm. Okay, you guys, that's about all I've got tonight. Unless you guys have anything else, um, I'm not going to go quite as long tonight because of the way I have been feeling. So if that's okay with you guys, probably going to just cut it short. And don't forget to get don't forget to get your pictures in here pretty soon. I need to pick another winner for the third quarter. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to pick somebody for the third quarter of the hashtag A Stitch in Crime blanket mail that's still going on. My blanket is still right here. Haven't touched it in a while, but it's still here. My scrap in crime blanket. So be sure and get pictures into me somehow, some way. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am taking some medicine now for the sinus stuff. So hopefully in the next couple of days things get better. I only just started taking it yesterday, so it'll take me a little while. But I'll get better. It'll be all right. So thank you guys. Be looking for me Friday. I don't know what time I will be on, but I will be on with a pop-up live some point during the day on Friday, not early, not early Friday, because I will be driving, and then at some point I'm going to pull over and have something to eat, and we can just talk for a little while. We can talk about crime on Friday. Okay, so I will see you guys then. You guys have a great rest of your week. Have fun today and eat more plants. Bye, everybody.